Hello and namaskar. Welcome to Express Cafe, a show which is a digital version of Citizen Journalist, which is being run by Sikkim's oldest and most widely circulated newspaper, Sikkim Express. This is a show which is run by the civil society, for the civil society and of the civil society. Today we have a very important discussion that we are going to take up, and that is the pandemic and education. Much has been talked about education across different platforms, but today we want to be specific about Sikkim and how this pandemic has taken a toll on the entire education process of Sikkim. We have a very interesting panel with us. We have the Special Secretary and SPD Samagra Siksha Education Department, Government of Sikkim. We have Mrs. Sangeeta Kharga, the principal of Tadong Senior Secondary School. We also have a very active social media and media influencer and social commentator, Mr. Dewaker Basnet, and a very young student, Kunjan Pandey, a student of class 12 from Manjushri School. So welcome to this program. I think you all must be watching, and we take issues slightly in a different tangent, and all of us, I mean, we all are stakeholders, and we've been trying to understand how this COVID pandemic has actually, devastated a lot of places in India. But Sikkim, I'm so happy, by reports that we see, has done fairly well, considering the locale, the geography, and also low COVID cases in terms of not as equal as what's happening in India. So I would like to start this discussion with our youngest member. Would you like to go back to school?
Yes, I would like to go back to school because I have the experience of learning through online classes in grade 11, and I don't think it is fairly as good and experienceable as offline classes, because first of all, our syllabus was cut down. We did cover our syllabus in grade 11, but the understanding that I faced through online and offline was totally different. And when I came back to school for the last 2 months of my grade 11, the experience that I had then and then the learning that I did in online classes were different. And then exams, my annual exams for grade 11 were done offline, and I did fairly well. I got highest in my class in math, and I hope I'll do well in 12 as well. But what I'm trying to say is that students, we feel like online classes have the advantages. Like we can research, we can do projects really fast, we can learn not only through our teachers but through other
Okay. So before we actually get into it, it's very important that we understand the student's perspective. Kunjan, you said that all this what you have said. Now I'll give you a choice. Offline or
offline.
Offline. What percentage of online do you want?
30 to 40%.
So 30 to 40% is a big number. Now I would like to come to our director, sir. Sir, 40 to 50% is what he's saying. We have also done some surveys and studies where children are saying the average stays at 20 to 30, but it drastically changes in the villages. Villages are saying 100% offline, no online. He is a student from the urban population. Are we ready for it?
I would like to put it in this manner that during this pandemic time, this online classes, this is an arrangement which is on a makeshift basis only, not a permanent solution. This is a stopgap solution, an approach in order to continue the learning process of the students, because we don't want the students' learning process to be abruptly stopped for a certain time, and when they take up in the next level, there is a difficulty in maintaining the continuum. So it is only a way of maintaining continuum of the education system. That is the first thing. Secondly, as Kunjan said, that he would like to go for offline mode of class. Let me put it in this manner that there is in fact no alternative for the offline mode of class. That is the best way out, because you are comfortable with that. When you do it online, there are some challenges, in fact many challenges. The first thing is that whether you are technologically able to handle the situations or not, whether you know this how to deal with the technology, The other thing is that, and the most important is that everybody may not have these digital devices. So the digital device, the absence of digital device causes a great lot of digital divide. However, if you see the national survey, the usage of online mode of education is around 12 to 13%. But in Sikkim, we have seen that the usage of online mode of education during this pandemic has been around 35%. So we are fairly good. Now that we are back to the normal situation, in the sense that we have continued with our offline mode, the regular class system, this online mode would also continue together, because the pandemic has taught us that this also should continue, because in the eventuality of like this would be our backup plan.
Interesting point, है उहाँले भन्नुभयो 35% चाहिँ there was a digital, usage. Fairly giving, let us take it, extend it to 47 पनि छ. Dewaker sir, you have been writing so much on social media regarding education. लेखि बस्नुहुन्छ, म पढि बस्छु हैन. तपाईलाई के लाग्छ? Have we done well as a small state, considering 110,000 students approximately, 110, 120, around 110, 1.12. So I think I am dot on target. हाम्रो नानीहरुलाई डिजिटल मिडियम हुन्छ, तपाई त बस्तीमै बस्नुहुन्छ, तपाईले के देख्नुभयो?
So I think one of the best things that we have seen is that the COVID came as a necessary boon for us also. Boon in terms of us realizing where we are heading towards. अहिलेसम्म के भइरहेको थियो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले टेक्नोलोजीलाई त्यति एडप्ट गरेकै थिएन होला, because we did not see the requirement of that being there.
Okay.
तर COVID forced us towards technology, and I have to acknowledge and also very thankful to the department, to the teachers who have worked day in and day out despite the challenges. They have reached out to students at their own individual levels also. मैले सुन्दाखेरि कतिवटा गाउँ ठाउँमा चाहिँ टिचर्सहरू आफै गएर पनि नानीहरूलाई ठाउँमा एउटा ठाउँमा जहाँ चाहिँ नेटवर्क छ त्यहाँ बोलाएर चाहिँ सोशल डिस्टेन्सिङ गरेर चाहिँ नानीहरूलाई पढायो. That itself is a huge thing for us. But when it comes to the aspect of whether I accept that or not, I think it's a fairly understood statement that we have to accept it, because this is the way forward for us also. And as sir rightly pointed out, कि अब हाम्रो learning पनि it has to be on a offline online mode. We cannot negate the fact that we have to go both ways.
Yes. So now I come to one of the largest, what do you call that, co-ed schools in Gangtok. One of the most problematic schools. Like them difficult पनि छ. Tadong, we know how difficult it is to handle, right? Madam, एउटा कुरा मलाई बताउनुस्. तपाई अब pandemic को time मा तपाई you took over the school, हैन? How well was the school equipped, and what is the situation now? आजभन्दा एक वर्ष अगाडि हेर्नुस्, जब तपाईले पेन्डेमिक आयो र अहिले तपाईलाई लाग्छ कि अब पनि हामीले 6 महिना स्कुल बन्द गरेर चाहिँ, सपोज I'm not saying we are closing down, बन्द गरे भने can we continue the education?
Well, the situation, if it demands, we'll have to close down. If in case the situation gets beyond our control,
it's coming towards
yes. But the new normal that we are in now, we are trying our level best to cope with the backlog that has been created because of the pandemic in the school education system. We are equipped, I think, in comparison to the initial stage that we were in. The students have become more friendly in using the gadgets. The teachers, even the primary teachers who are not much acquainted with using the technology, they have also come in par with the others. They are trying every means to learn, and then they have, to a certain extent, succeeded in imparting education through online mode during this, the pandemic situation.
The ball rolls down, Again, I'll come back to Kunjan. Just one word. Which was the medium which you used the maximum?
Google Meet and WhatsApp.
Google Meet and WhatsApp. Okay. So both were Android oriented. So now I would like, to ask a question, because there was a lot of social media hype in this one, no? We also, since I've been teaching in a college, we've been using WhatsApp to the maximum possible. Google Meet, etc. were done for some interactive classes. The Sikkim government took a very, very interesting step by giving televisions. Why television and why not a tab? We saw that 95% of the students were using WhatsApp. Kina tab now there as a TV there.
I think there is a kind of a gap in understanding here. Let me put it right in this manner. When the pandemic was setting in this country, on 17th of March 2020, we first officially announced lockdown of the schools, which was exactly 1 week before the country went to the lockdown. You know, in any disaster situation, there are certain things in the disaster cycle. One is when it happens, pandemic, this COVID-19 coronavirus attack is also a disaster. You know, it's a health disaster, it's a hazard. So there are some ways of responding to it. For instance, how do you respond to that? And then what are the mitigation procedures? What is your preparedness and what do you plan ahead? So what happened is that when the schools were locked down, when everything came to a halt, standstill kind of thing was that, we realized that it is not the way, because we cannot wait all the time for the pandemic to stop, because there was no certainty when it is going to stop. In fact, it has not stopped now also. अहिले पनि यो जुन पेन्डेमिक छ यो चलिरहेको छ, यो अझै कहिलेसम्म चल्ने यसको बारेमा कसैले भन्न सक्ने पनि छैन र आउने दिनहरूमा पनि यो चल्न सक्छ। तर त्यति बेला जति बेला हाम्रोमा यो अवस्थिति थियो कि अब के गर्ने त, कि केही नगरी बस्ने नगरेर हामीले के गर्यौं भने आवर स्टेप्स वे फरवर्ड, हामीले के गर्यौं भने हाम्रो सिक्किम एडुटेक एप भन्ने एउटा एप छ। त्यो एप समग्र शिक्षाले डिभाइस गरेको, पहिला त्यो एप खास गरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिभ पर्पजको लागि मात्रै थियो। तर एज दिवाकरले अघि राइटली भन्नुभयो, बेला बेला दिस इज काइन्ड अफ नेसेसरी एबिल र बुन हो भने जस्तो। सो बुन किन भयो भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो जुन त्यो सिक्किम एडुटेक एप थियो, इट वाज लिमिटेडली युज्ड फर द पर्पज अफ एनरोलिङ स्टुडेन्ट्स एन्ड अल दिस थिङ्स। हामीले यो एपलाई के गर्यौं भने यो एप चाहिँ हामीले एउटा प्लेटफर्म फर एजुकेसन बनायौं र थ्रु सिक्किम एडुटेक एप हामीले होमवर्क, क्लास वर्क, एसेसमेन्ट एभ्रिथिङ पुश गर्न थाल्यौं। टिचरले स्टुडेन्टहरुको एसेसमेन्टहरु गर्न थाले र यो दिस इज अ वाइड प्लेटफर्म। एन्ड लाइक कुञ्जन सेट, हामीले त्यो अरु इन्टरनेसनली इन भोग जति पनि सोशल साइटहरु छ, एपहरु छ, साइमल्टेनियसली त्यो पनि युज गर्यौं। अनि हामीले के गर्यौं भने जब अप्रिलतिर हामीले बुझ्यौं कि यो अनलाइन मोड अफ एजुकेसनले मात्रै हुँदैन, यसले एउटा व्यापक डिजिटल ग्याप आउँदैछ, जो नहुनेहरुको लागि हामीले अलिकति एटेन्ड गर्न सकिरहेका छैनौं। त्यसले गर्दा हामीले के गर्यौं भने जो हाम्रो टेलिभिजन छ, यो टेलिभिजनमा चाहिँ जस्तो लोकल केबल नेटवर्क छ, लोकल केबल नेटवर्कमा हाम्रो कन्टेन्टहरु त्यहाँ दियौं। म्याथ्स र साइन्स जहाँनेर भर्बल इनपुट भन्दा भिजुअल इनपुट ज्यादा दिनुपर्ने हुन्छ, त्यसको क्लासेसहरु हामीले गरायौं र त्यो चाहिँ टेलिभिजनबाट हामीले टेलिकास्ट गरायौं। र जहाँ भर्बल इनपुटले हुन्छ, बोलेर हुन्छ, जस्तो इंग्लिश भयो, ल्याङ्ग्वेजहरु भयो, सोशल स्टडिज भयो, योहरु हामीले अल इन्डिया रेडियोको मार्फत हामीले प्रत्येक दिन 1 घण्टाको क्लास गर्यौं। र त्यसपछि यतिले पनि पुग्दैन भनेर जब हामीले बुझ्यौं, किनभने युसेज लिमिटेड हुन्छ, हामीले के गर्यौं भने हामीसँग जति पनि ल्यापटपहरु उब्रेका थिए, त्यो ल्यापटपहरुमा सबै यो ई कन्टेन्टहरु लोड गर्यौं। लोड गरेर हरेक बीएससी मा हामीले त्यति बेला लगभग 150 देखि 160 जस्तो शैडो एरिया जहाँनेर नेट पुग्दैन, त्यो शैडो एरिया आइडेन्टिफाई गरेर त्यहाँ एक-एकवटा ल्यापटप पठायौं। र यसले पनि नपुग्दा हामीले के गर्यौं भने एउटा होम स्कुलिङ भन्ने कन्सेप्ट हामीले जुलाई 2020 मा सुरु गर्यौं। होम स्कुलिङको कन्सेप्ट चाहिँ हामीले सुरु गरेको स्पेशल एलिमेन्टरी लेभलबाट सुरु गरेको हामीले। त्यसको उद्देश्य र औचित्य के थियो भने इफ द चाइल्ड क्यानट कम टु द स्कुल, लेट द स्कुल गो टु द चाइल्ड। यदि नानी चाहिँ स्कुल आउन सकेन भने स्कुल नानीसम्म जाओस्। र त्यसरी हाम्रा गुरुबाउहरुले, स्टेक होल्डरले, पेरेन्टले, एल्डरले पनि एलिमेन्टरी लेभलको शिक्षाको लागि प्रशस्त काम गरे, किनभने नानीहरुलाई, ससाना नानीहरुको लागि डिजिटल मोड चाहिँ भाइबल हुँदैन।
I mean, we've seen the reports, हैन, पेपरहरुतिर पनि आयो, but I still want to know why television and why not a tab?
टेलिभिजन चाहिँ मतलब तपाईले कुन हामीले टेलिभिजनबाट किन प्रोग्राम गर्यौं भन्नुभएको?
किन बाड्यो? Why not tab किन बाडेन?
ट्याब चाहिँ यस्तो हो, हाम्रोमा थुप्रो इन्टरभेन्सनहरु छ। त्यो इन्टरभेन्सनबाट स्मार्ट ट्याबहरु पनि डिस्ट्रिब्युट भइरहेको छ। विभिन्न किसिमको हाम्रो प्रोग्रामहरु छ। त्यो सबै प्रोग्राम मध्ये ट्याब छैन हैन, ट्याब पनि हामी दिइरहेका हुन्छौं। हजुर, त्यसमा चाहिँ अन टप अफ दैट टेलिभिजन आएको हो। ट्याब पनि हाम्रोबाट गइरहेको छ। तर लिमिटेसन के हुन्छ भने कोही ठाउँ ट्याब हुन्छ, कुनै क्लासेसलाई जस्तो 8 देखि ऊपर टेलिभिजनको कुरा आएको छ, त्यो भन्दा पहिला हामीले ट्याबहरु पनि दिइरहेको हो। ट्याब अझै पनि छ दिने चलन।
Okay. So, Dewaker, you have been writing about it. I saw a long post, once upon a time. Any comments on this? I mean,
Yeah,
you were talking about interactive videos or and all that. I mean, I don't know.
You know,
written
tab
long
or
time.
television, I think that's for the department to decide, and I think they've decided it wisely, looking at whatever the circumstances are. But let me look at the opportunity that this has created. I see a huge industry by itself in terms of content creation.
Content creation.
Content creation.
Okay.
For example, see, because it's a smart television. I understand it's a
Yeah.
smart television, so you could do a lot of. You could put in your pen drives. You could put in whatever you want to do in terms of the message dissemination. Malai चाहिँ के लाग्छ भन्दा is looking forward. Yeah, moving forward, what we could look at is in terms of the education department per se maybe having a segment by itself which is only creating digital content. Because our textbooks, as far as I know, especially in the elementary level and a little notch higher than that, we have been localizing a lot of content there. We've been using our own examples, etc., etc. So I see a huge opportunity for educators in the field internally as well as outside, you know. So this, and that can be, if I can move a little further, that could be if the education department takes a satellite channel by itself, for example, for
Okay.
Sikkim.
Education through satellite, that is a system which is in operation with us. We have studios in our BSCs, and during this time we have utilized the service of Sikkim EduSet as well. EduTech is the app-based learning, EduSet is that satellite-based learning. We have that also, but that is limited. As you rightly said, the way forward would be to blend these both things like online and offline mode to be blended together. And let me tell again that online is going to happen because in a manner that it would be a routine activity now, not abruptly.
So we got a fair understanding ki kina, I mean, television diyo or kina tab diyo. I think that has cleared a lot of other things among the Facebook users. Lekhi basani manchile, you know. Dewaker has also put up a very good issue of like, you know, there is a lot of scope for content creators, educators, right? Now, ma'am, तपाईहरुको जब pandemic भयो र तपाईहरुले WhatsApp different mediums हो तपाईले use गर्नुभयो. In fact, I should appreciate all the teachers who took that extra step to learn, especially old ones. अब नयाँ teachersहरुले त चलाइहाल्छ हैन, but there were a lot of senior teachers who got into that and कतिवटा controversy भयो, थुप्रै भयो हैन त्यसको बेलामा. I saw one app where the teacher was crying, saying that मैले लेखेको तिमीहरुले बुझ्दैनौ भनेर. I mean, all these things were viral. अब के भयो त्यति बेला. तर पनि म्याम आज जस्तै अब यहाँ डाक्टर साइलेन भन्नुभयो, we don't know what the situation is. We are already at 59,000 right now. Yesterday COVID cases were 59,000. As soon as it crosses 1 lakh, I think the government of India may take a decision. We don't know. तर पनि एउटा कतिवटा प्रोटोकल्स उले दिएको छ र स्कुलहरुमा के हुँदैछ, तपाईहरुले सोशल डिस्टेन्सिङहरु के स्ट्यागर्ड कसरी गर्नु हुँदैछ? किन नानीहरु त सबै गएको देख्छु म त्यहाँनिर.
In a school like mine where we have a huge enrollment,
हजुर के गर्नु?
I have asked them to come, following the alternate, roll numbers, odd even roll numbers. To get this. And then we have kept the non-teaching and some of the staffs also deputed at the gate to sanitize the students and, monitor the temperature. That's being done at gate number 1 and also at gate number 2. That is being done. But in spite of that, the students are students after all. So, moment they are away from, our site, they start hugging each other.
Of course, I mean students are students.
The students are students also. And then this is quite a difficult time, but nonetheless we are managing it somehow.
So, steps are being taken and we are worried. But because I am very worried right now. About next 2 months ma ke turn lencha COVID le you don't know. Let's hope it does not take that other turn. Let us hope that it gets to positive son. So Dewaker, you've been doing a lot of programs with the schools. From your own this one. But that programs are not happening now. How can we use the online media? I mean, Hundes are trading, like I also run an organization called Sati. We are doing online trainings. So it is not as effective as what it happens when we meet like this, Tapaiलाई के लाग्छ in the next 3 years, 5 years, how can this be changed?
The best thing is that technology is very adaptive, and the worst thing is that we need to adopt it as quickly as it comes. The younger generation, they are adopting technology by the by the minute they're adopting. So we also need to pacing ourselves in terms of, you talked about events. I think now time has come that we start doing a lot of online events also, so that it becomes the new normal. Online has to be the new normal because that is what the world is heading towards also. I'm not looking at it just as a COVID issue, but I'm looking at it as a global, future relevant issue.
So it's a post-COVID era now.
It's a post-COVID era now,
so
and
we'll
we
have
need
to
tackle it as it is coming.
So that is where I'm coming to, Bhim. So now, are we thinking to have events, quiz programs, debates, etc.? I mean, what we happened, I mean, जुन चाहिँ हामीले offline गर्थे नि, यसलाई हामी online platform मा department ले के सोच्दैछ यो extra curricular activities, co-curricular activities हरूलाई online ल्याउने.
So far, doing these events, activities online is concerned, our schools are already at it. They have started doing, in fact they have been doing it. The only thing is that during the pandemic only it came to be known to the people. अब अफिसकै लेभलमा हेर्नुहुन्छ भने जस्तो हाम्रो समग्र शिक्षाको एउटा एनुअल वर्क प्लान एन्ड बजेट विच इज बजेटिङ त्यो दिल्लीमा गएर गर्नुपर्छ. लास्ट इयरको हाम्रो एनुअल वर्क प्लान एन्ड बजेट अनलाइन भयो. सो अब स्टेट वाइड करोड रुपियाँको बजेटिङ अनलाइनमा हुँदैछ अहिले. यसपालिको हाम्रो जुन एनुअल वर्क प्लान एन्ड बजेट छ त्यो पनि अनलाइनै प्रपोज भएको छ. अनि सेभरल जस्तो भोकेसन जस्तो टपिक जहाँनिर अर्ग्यानिक फार्मिङ आउँछ, जहाँनिर अन द जब एक्टिभिटीहरू हुन्छ, जहाँनिर आइसिटीसँग रिलेटेड म्याटरहरू हुन्छ, डिलिङ विथ द आइटम्स अब्जेक्ट्स हुन्छ, त्यो शुद्ध हामीले अनलाइन गर्न थाल्यौँ अहिले. सो आवर चिल्ड्रेन आर इन अ वे दे आर प्रिपेयर्ड एन्ड दे आर रेडी टु गो अन एन अनलाइन मोड अफ इभन ह्याभिङ द इभेन्ट्स टु द एक्सटेन्ट द्याट कति यस्तो इभेन्टहरू हुन्छन् जहाँनिर फिजिकल प्रेजेन्स इज नेसेसरी, त्योहरू पनि अहिले हामी अनलाइन गर्ने हामी त्यो मोडमा छौँ. एज आई टोल्ड इन द बिगिनिङ कि हाम्रो युसेज अफ अनलाइन मोड अफ लर्निङ इज फार बेटर देन द नेसनल एभरेज.
Exactly.
So that is what people should realize, that we are ready, our students are ready, our teachers are ready. To tell you one thing, हामीले जति आशा गरेको थियौँ नि, अन्त हामीले नै टिचरहरूले यो गर्नुपर्छ, but then they did what we had also not thought.
So that's what I mean. Teachers
they have done wonderfully well.
अब यहाँ कुरा आयो नि, I mean मान्छेले सबै frontline workers को कुरा आयो नि. म्याडमले पनि यो
every worker is a frontline worker.
So you know frontline workers चाहिँ पुलिसलाई भन्यो, उलाई भन्यो.
Exactly, you pointed out you struck the right chord because the teachers are on their toes
In
all
fact,
the
yes.
while.
अनि के भयो भन्दाखेरि पुलिसले आफ्नो काम गर्यो, ल एन्ड अर्डर मेन्टेन गर्नु, डन्डा लगाउनु सबै गर्यो हैन. डक्टर्स दे पुट अन दे वर इन अ भेरी ब्याड सिचुएसन, नर्सेसहरू, तर त्यही पनि उहाँहरूले जुन चाहिँ उहाँहरूले गर्नुपर्ने जसरी मेडिकल फेज, तर टिचर्सहरू चाहिँ कम्प्लिट शिफ्ट गर्नु पर्यो नि. एउटा वे अफ टिचिङबाट चाहिँ कम्प्लिट शिफ्ट गरेर चाहिँ नयाँ चिज सिकेर गर्नु पर्यो. सो आई थिङ्क दे वर लाइक द फ्रन्टलाइन वर्कर्स विच सेभड अ लट. सो द्याट इज वेयर आई एम कमिङ टु यु. आई मिन यु कम फ्रम अ भेरी एलिट स्कुल, मञ्जुश्री इज अ एलिट स्कुल लेट्स से. तपाईँहरूको डिड यु अल ह्याभ events?
We did have online events, like we obviously had the online classes and then excluding
debates, extempore speech, poetry competition.
We didn't have much, but we did have, like in Environment Day last year, the grade 5 students, the junior students, they made a video regarding the awareness of environment, and then I was in the department of editing that video, and then we had experiences online, like we had to communicate, share data, and then we were planning on having inter-house events as well. Yeah, we're planning. Yeah.
So the elite schools also were in a pandemic situation. Madam, tapaharko school ma garnu bhayo?
Of course, we did so many events. Actually, we do more offline events than like online events than offline events these days. So the students, we've been doing it, sir.
So Dewaker, can you tell me? I mean, just getting to the last, because this is very inclusive. I mean, why? पढेर मात्रै मान्छे I mean उँभो लाग्ने हैन. You have been always advocating that, talking, speech, competition, this, that, innovative science projects, हैन. Give me a few suggestions, or director sir is here, the principal is here, which can go to the masses, and they can also pick up something. How can we organize a few events which, and there has to be a wide media dissemination. How can we do those?
The best thing is that now everybody is comfortable with using technology.
Right.
We just need to take it from there. अब के हो, हामीले जुन चाहिँ अफलाइन गर्दै थियो पहिला त्यसलाई अनलाइन मोडमा हाल्नु मात्रै त हो नि. And as sir rightly said, the education department, for example, I can state our own instance. We did a career counseling program for the education department online for for students of 4 districts. Under his leadership, we did a program, and it was out of 40 students, 38 students participated in the program online, with the teachers also intact for about 1.5 hours. So this is the new normal, and thankfully everybody is understanding that whether by coercion or by the way it is, this is what the future is also. For example, day before yesterday, we did a program with Sikkim University, which was an online thing. There were students who actually presented the case, and we were sitting as judges online in our own homes and doing the evaluation in terms of how the project has come out. So I think online is the next thing, and with technology as the greatest support, it's going to be an easy task. And as sir rightly said, Hamro usage of smartphone, usage of internet with whatever bandwidth we have,
Exactly.
I think it has been phenomenal. We need to agree to the fact that nationally, national average, we have done very well, because each one of, especially the education sector, has understood the responsibility so well and delivered their promise also. So I think this is going to be the normal.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's been a very enlightening. I mean, a lot of things came out. A lot of all that social media talk, cross talk has been cleared. एउटा कुरा हामीले के बुझ्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ पहिला जस्तो स्थितिमा हामी जाने सिचुएसनमा भए पनि this is going to stay. This is, I think, what we can say. कि अब हामीले what we have now taken as an online, like as Kunjan said, from various said, that I would prefer to have 40%, of online and 60% of offline. So this would be the new normal. May not be 40, it may come down to 25-75, but this is going to stay forever. So taking that in view, let us take that step forward, and let's hope that the new COVID era will bring in a new paradigm shift, which has already happened in the education sector. So thank you very much, and we do hope to get a lot of views and comments from you. Please write to us in our email address that will be given in the video itself, and hope to see you all next week. Thank you very much from Express Cafe.